All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make another type of Lightning component. And this is a Lightning component that I personally refer to as an admin-friendly Lightning component. So an admin wouldn't necessarily build this Lightning component because like all Lightning components, it requires code to build. It is a custom Lightning component. However, it is configurable by an admin from within the Lightning app builder, for example. So what I'm going to show you how to build is essentially a simple Lightning component to display some information to your users or to your customers, for example, because it could also be embedded in a community. So this Lightning component, as you're going to see, is pretty simple. It'll have an icon, a title, some text, and then a button, which we can use to point to a URL. So this might be something useful, for example, if you want to point your users to a survey about how their Salesforce experience is, for example, or what new tools they would like to see. You could create a Lightning component like this, and you could embed it in their homepage so that they would see it when they log in. So anyways, without any further ado, I'm going to show you how to build this, and then I'm going to show you how we can configure it and use it within our orgs. So let's get started. All right, so first things first, I'm just going to go ahead and log into Salesforce. Now, once I'm in Salesforce, instead of searching for something in my quick find menu, as I usually do, I'm going to open directly the developer console. So that's going to open in a new tab. I'll visit that tab, and I will go to the File menu, New, and then Lightning component. So here I'll enter a title for my component. I'm going to call it Message Tile, and I'm just going to click Submit. So here on the right-hand side, I have all my options: component, controller, helper, style, documentation, etc. I'm going to open up style as well, and it'll make that for me. And I'm going to open design. So basically I need three of these: component, style, and design, and I don't need controller or helper. So let's start with the component. So I'll click on the component, and the first thing that I need to add is I need to make sure that it's implementing FlexiPage, available for all page types. And I'm going to set the access to global. Okay, so now I'm going to make 6 different Aura attributes. So I'm just going to make an empty one, and I'm going to copy and paste it 6 times. And now I'm going to fill out the names and types for the different variables that I'm going to use. So I'm going to have one called show icon, which is a Boolean. And then all the rest of them are going to be strings. So I'll copy and paste string into all of them. I'll have icon name, component title, component body, button title, and button link. Okay, so just to make this a little bit clearer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment each of these, and I'm going to separate them into groups of 2. So the first 2 relate to the icon, the second 2 relate to the text, and the last 2 relate to the button. Now, when you see this in action, it's going to make a lot more sense, but for now, I'm just setting up these attributes. Now I'll make the component itself. So I'll create a div. I'll make it SLDS box, I'll give it the default theme, and I'm going to give it this custom class called dark theme. And before I forget, I want to add this to my style. I don't know how I'm going to style it yet exactly, but I just want to make sure that I put this in here. I'll do .dark theme. Okay, and I'll save that, and we'll just go back to the component. And now within the div, basically, I need to set up a Lightning layout. Now, within my Lightning layout, I'm going to put an if is true. And if it is true, v.showIcon, which again is a Boolean, then I'm going to show an icon. So I'll put a Lightning layout item in here, and I'll put a Lightning icon inside of that layout item, and I'll give it an icon name, and the icon name will be v.icon_name, that other variable, that other attribute I've set up there. Okay? So again, to make this a little bit clearer, I'm going to add some more spaces. And I'm going to add another layout item here. I'm going to give it padding around small, just to set it apart a little bit. And inside of that, I'll put an H2. I'll give that H2 a class of SLDS text heading medium. And I will give it the value of component title. Okay, so before we move on here, what I want to do is I want to, again, review that basically a Lightning layout is a row, and a Lightning layout item is a column. So this is essentially going to display as a row with 2 columns, so elements next to each other. The first column will be an item, and the second column will be a title. And again, that first column is optional, only if we have show icon toggled to true. So now let's create a second row here. And here I'm going to copy this just so that it remains really clear what our layout is actually going to look like in the end. Now within this layout, I'm going to create a layout item. Again, I'll give it just some padding around small. And here, what I want to make is I want to put the body of the component, so like the text that I'm going to put in there. So I'll make a paragraph element and I'll put it in there with some padding. And then underneath that, I'm going to make a link, and the href is going to be the button link. And I'm going to make sure to add target is equal to underscore blank, so it opens in a new tab by default. And then within that, that A element, that link element, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lightning button. And I'll give it 3 attributes: label, class, and variant. And I'll make sure the label corresponds to the button title. The class, I'm going to make sure it's aligned center. And the variant is brand, so that's going to make it use kind of some of the default lightning styles. Okay, so my component now is done. And what I'll do now is I'm actually just going to close this other tab. And what I want to do now is I want to build my design file. So within my design file, I'm going to create 6 design attributes, and they're all going to have name and label. So again, I'll copy and paste 6 times, split them into 2s, and they're going to correspond to the other ones. So they'd all have the same names the other ones have for my component. So I have show icon and icon name, and I'm going to give them labels, right? Like human readable labels, display icon, icon name. I also have component title and component body, which will be called title and content. And I have button title and button link, which will be called button title and button URL. So those are for the users to interact with. And I'm just, again, showing you that these correspond, the design attributes correspond to the aura attributes in my component. Okay, so last but not least, I want to finish kind of theming this really simply. So I want to make dark theme, and I also want to style the button as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the dark theme a background, which is like a nice dark blue. And I'm going to give the white text using that color tag. And for my button, I'm actually going to invert that. So the color of the text is going to be dark blue and the background is going to be white. So this will give it some, it'll be able to kind of stand out against the background. So I'll go ahead and save that. And now it's a question of testing this to make sure that it appears the way we want it to appear and it's working as expected. So within my quick find in my setup, I will search for Lightning and I will open Lightning App Builder. Now I'm just going to create a net new homepage to test this out. And I'll choose homepage there, I'll click next, and I'll give it a name. I'm just going to call it my new homepage. Again, click next, choose the standard layout. And now on the left-hand side, if I look at my custom Lightning components, I can see message tile, the one I just created, and I can drag that into one of the empty boxes. Okay, so now let's look at that right-hand pane. I have display icon, icon name, I have title, I have content, I have button title, and I have button URL. So all of those attributes, both design attributes and aura attributes, I can fill them out now. And I can fill them out as an admin, as a user who doesn't write code, just declaratively. So I can create a title, and I'm going to create some content. I'm basically going to tell the user that they can take this survey about their Lightning experience. I'll give the button a title called Take Survey, and I'll give it a URL. Now let's talk about the icon. I'm going to open up, I'm going to Google Lightning icons, and I'm going to open that first link, which is icons within the Lightning design system, because there's a bunch of icons available to you already within Lightning that we can use. So I think if I'm going to make this a survey, probably I'm going to want to use, let's see if I can find a question mark in here. So I'll search for question mark there. Question post action is the name of that icon and is an action icon. So the way that I can actually reference this is within my component, again, I'll type action colon and then question post action, the name of that. And if I toggle display, you can see it show up there. Now, just to make this really clear, let's try a different icon so you can kind of understand. Let's say this edit icon. So again, it'll be action colon edit. And you can see that shows up there. Also, there's other types. So if we go down to kind of these standard icons, here's one called link. Let's say I want to use that one. Again, it's within the standard library. So what I'll put actually is standard colon link. And there it is. So that's how I can toggle the icon. I think the one that I liked the best was the first one. So I'm going to go back to that one. And my component's done. I've configured it. I'm ready to save it and activate it for my users so that they can start taking surveys and giving me feedback about the Lightning experience. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. I assigned it as the default layout for everybody, and there it is. So now all I need to do is just open the home page. So I'm actually just going to duplicate this tab and remove all the extra stuff there. And this should take me to the home page. And there I am. Within the home page, I can see my tile, and if I click the button, it'll take me to that URL. All right, so that's all for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, if it was useful to you, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, feel free to subscribe if this kind of content is interesting to you, if you work in the Salesforce ecosystem, or if you work with Salesforce, or if you'd like to learn Salesforce. As always, I appreciate your feedback, comments, questions. You can leave them in the comment section below, and I will do my best to reply quickly. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next one.